And Trump's like, believe me, Germany is spending very, 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 so very little. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I saw this very interesting title grace my screen the other day, and I'm like, hold on, wait. We gotta check this out, because that can't be true. It says the German military will become Europe's most powerful. Here is why. Now, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I think that's cap, but I wanna hear them out and see what they gotta say today. I honestly think it's very hit or miss, more miss than hits, but that's just my personal opinion. You already know that's kind of what my main gig is. I'm in the military myself and stuff, so I've seen some capability things and stuff behind the scenes that you guys don't normally get to see. So with that being said, I'm like, I don't know about all that. Maybe at some point. I guess in Europe, I could see that. I could see that in Europe. But worldwide, maybe that's what I was interpreting when they said all of Europe. Anyways, like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff.
And shortages in ammunition, boots, and even underwear during a NATO mission in Lithuania.
Oh.
These are the headlines that the once feared German military are currently making.
Okay.
Not to mention the hundreds of millions of euros that went to consultants in an effort to clean up the army's mess.
Yeah, the army's not looking too hot right now.
With very little to show for it. German high-ranking officials are raising their concerns, and so are NATO allies.
No matter where you look, there's dysfunction. And then NATO's like, why are the Germans only terrible at war when they are on our side? Oh my gosh. I was low-key thinking that too, because I'm like, wasn't Germany's military on some other stuff when they weren't allies? Like, Same with Japan too. Like when they weren't allies, Japan was going crazy. But I think there were a lot of rules and sanctions put in place and agreements that were put in place that kind of hindered the progression of both of their militaries and the way that they were progressing. But who am I? I'm just a guy. I don't know what I'm talking about. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments.
Where statements such as these are not uncommon. Ever since the Cold War ended in 1991, Germany has allowed its military to deteriorate.
Oof.
And this is somewhat understandable, as Germany was busy integrating the West with the East, which posed great economic and social challenges. Over the last 30 years, there was simply very little incentive to have a powerful military.
I also seen this. You know, so over the last few years, I've talked to a lot of you guys in Discord. I even visited Germany last year. Dude, this is crazy. And I don't think the focus was to have the most powerful military. I think the goal was to protect the people and execute missions accordingly. I think that's pretty much a general consensus when it comes to that. I think America, our goal is to have the world's most powerful military, which I think right now it definitely is. But you can see that that's where the money is being allocated in each respective country. Like, you know, you got America, we put most of our budget into the military. You got Germany, you guys put a lot of your money into infrastructure and your economy and whatnot, and the people. So that's actually really cool. But I think on both sides, people in Germany and the people in America have complaints about where that money is being allocated, and there have been disagreements over the years. But actually, I want to hear from you guys. Do you think the money is being distributed in a way that you guys feel satisfied? Because arguably, a lot of people would argue in the healthcare factor for Germany, the heavy taxes and whatnot, and the way the money is being spent allow for people to live not luxurious lives, and not even lavish lives, but they can live fulfilling lives in Germany, more so than in America, where the cost of everything is way too high and the incentive for living longer is
as Germany doesn't share a border with potential aggressors like Russia. NATO, and especially the US, was there for protection. And unlike the US and the UK, Germany had very few overseas commitments. And there was very little appetite for a large military among the population, who still remember the horrors of World War II. But now, overnight, everything has changed. Only 3 days after the Russian invasion of Ukraine, the German Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, made a shocking announcement, declaring that Germany will massively increase its defense spending.
I remember this. Yeah, that's old news. This is an old video for sure. But I do remember this, and there were memes all over the internet about this. Like, oh, we're going to increase the government spending on the military. And the whole world's like, last time that happened, The world was just looking at Germany extra crazy. We're like, well, you're still our friend, right? We're cool, right? But I feel like it's more than just pumping money into your military and whatnot. It's, you know, of course, how you spend the money is very important, but I think how you train your people is pivotal, because you can spend all the money in the world on weapons, but if you're not spending money on training, then it's like giving an inexperienced person a rocket launcher. If they don't know how to use it, it don't matter. They might take themselves out.
Spending and meet the 2% NATO benchmark. This was met by applause in Parliament, and surveys already show that 75% of Germans support this decision.
Okay.
But how significant is this increase? Let's have a look at defense spending across the globe last year.
Yo, look at the defense spending from the US to China is diabolical, bro. Look, $800 billion, basically, if we're rounding it up to the nearest 100 billion, then yeah, $800 billion for the United States. And then the closest competitor after that is China with basically 300 billion. That's insane. That is insane. That is literally night and day difference between spending. And the funny thing is, too, the U.S. borrows a lot of its money, as do a lot of countries as well. So it's like, hey, can I see some money real quick? And then boom, bam, like beefed up military. It's insane, bro. America does not play when it comes to its military.
Here in 2021. As you can see, Germany spent $52.8 billion.
Ooh, and I forgot to even mention Germany. Germany's at the bottom of this list right now, man. I mean, $50 million that's not even maintenance. That's not even maintenance. It's not enough money to get you high quality training. It's not at all.
Sitting at 7th in the world ranking list. Slightly ahead of France, but significantly behind.
Also, I'm not sure if I said million or billion. I meant to say $50 billion. I don't think it's good. That's enough money to spend on like high quality training for the military personnel across all branches, because we think in our heads that the military is just, you know, one big entity and there's not these little sectors and stuff, right? You have your Navy, your Marines, your Air Force, your Coast Guard, blah, blah, blah. Germany has its versions of that. It's not just Army. It's like they have their different services as well. So you got to think with all of that, the different sectors, and then it's like, okay, cool, bro. Like, what is the mission of these different sectors and stuff? And like, how can we effectively train the personnel to do what they got to do to protect their people and their assets? Like, do you really have enough money to support that and also pay everybody on top of that? Like, that's what, bro. Healthcare too. Healthcare is already taking care of itself, so I don't have to beat that dead horse, but it's a lot.
The UK and Russia. But if we compare percentage of GDP, Germany ranks much lower.
Oof.
Of the 20 biggest military spenders, Germany comes in 15th.
Yikes.
As they only spend 1.4% of their GDP on their army.
And Trump's like, believe me, Germany is spending very, 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 so very little.
Many have criticized this lack of spending, as it is far below the NATO target of 2%.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. I know a lot of you guys are like, well, why? Why is it scary? I'm like, I don't know. You kind of leave yourself open for anything to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I mean, fortunately, because of NATO, not really, because if anything were to happen to Germany, the whole world would swarm in on whatever country is messing with Germany. It's a very different times we live in now. You know what I mean? Like all the countries that were enemies of America and the rest of the world are a part of NATO for the most part. I think there's probably, I don't know, a handful of countries that we consider enemies and stuff, and they're enemies to NATO. So it's very interesting seeing these numbers and whatnot.
However, once Germany hits the 2% target, things will look very different. Because of Germany's strong economy, military expenditure would rise to $76.12 billion, putting Germany into third place, ahead of Russia and the UK, making them the front runner within the EU.
But look at how, dude, the level of money, like the sheer tier of money that the US is spending on the military, even if Germany were to boost its spending to 2%, I'm not sure what the numbers are now because this is a very dated video, we would still have probably 8 times higher spending for the U.S. military than the German military. But also, you got to think, I forgot about this too. America in general is just way bigger than Germany. Germany's pretty tiny compared to the size of America. So yeah, I got to take that into account too. It'll definitely be different. Like if Germany was spending $700 billion on its military, then good God, you guys would have like alien lasers and vaporized beams and all kinds of crazy stuff, teleporters and whatnot. You would have like a level 100 fortified Clash of Clans castle, dude.
And Europe by quite some distance. And German politicians have said as much, clearly stating that this is the intent. And it doesn't stop here. In an effort to modernize the military more quickly, Olaf Scholz has also dedicated a one-time special fund of over
$109 billion. I did hear, but I was waiting for them to bring that up because they're over here talking about $76 billion. I'm like, didn't they get approved for like $100 billion for their military spending? Which is huge. That is massive. That is massive. That's double what they've been spending and probably the highest they've spent on their military in a long time.
100 billion euros to German defense. This is a lot of money. But spend doesn't necessarily equal military might.
That's what I was literally just saying. You can buy all the shiniest weapons in the world, and if your training is garbage and people don't know how to use them and your tacticians are also garbage, it don't matter. Read The Art of War, man. Read The Art of War.
The UK, France, and Russia are still far ahead when it comes to military strength. Here we can see the comparison between these nations. While Germany does have a significant number of soldiers, aircraft, and tanks, it only has a very small presence on the sea.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like air power and land power, they're doing great. But if you take matters to the sea, it's wraps, dude. I mean, look at this. Only 6 submarines, 0 ships. Like 0 like platforms for aircraft to take off in the ocean, bro. That's huge. Like you have those naval ships and stuff where they're like a portable flight line pretty much, and Germany has 0 of those. You guys don't even have standard ships, and then let alone like these. Are these nukes? Is that what this is right here? A nuke? Y'all don't have nukes? Germany doesn't have nukes? I thought Germany did have nukes. Well, whatever this is right here, y'all don't got it.
France and the UK do have a considerable navy with multiple destroyers, submarines, and even 3 aircraft carriers in between them.
That's what I meant. Aircraft carriers. I'm fried today, man. I just woke up.
And well, then there's Russia, who just has a lot of everything. As for nuclear weapons...
Except for aircraft carriers, they got 1 aircraft carrier, bro. 1. America was born for this, man. Shouts out to England, bro.
In the aftermath of World War II, it was agreed that Germany cannot possess nuclear, biological, or chemical weapons.
Oh, wow. What? So you guys have none? Like 0? That's a little messed up. You guys can't have nukes? That's kind of messed up. Because like that seems like the hot commodity. It's not just like America is the only country that has it. I'm pretty sure every country has something. You know what I'm saying? Germany can't have any. But it's interesting though, because again, like if you're allies, it's like, let's say there's a group of friends, right? And the agreement is that, well, one of your friends was a former crash out. That dude used to fight everybody, but he's turned a new leaf. He's shown the error in his ways. He's learned. So now, in order to be a part of this friend group, which guarantees you protection, they'll take care of you, whatever, you just might be the only person in that group. Let's say if everybody's carrying a gun on them for safety, whatever, you might not be able to carry a gun. Okay. And this is like the situations in America, whatever, right? Let's say, cool. Like you can't, like everybody else can have some, but you definitely can't have any. But if anything does happen to you, everybody will step in and fight for you. So it's like you have a conglomerate of bodyguards and they give you money. You know, it's like, you know, I'd say Germany's like a sugar baby. Yeah, Germany's like a sugar baby. Like NATO and gives it money and stuff and cash, and then Germany produces product. The only catch 22 is Germany's not allowed to have nukes, which kind of does suck though. Like you can't just on site defend yourself if somebody's threatening you, you know?
However, this comparison is somewhat incomplete and flawed.
Okay, for sure.
As it does not take into account military modernization, high-tech weapons, logistics, military experience, and intelligence.
That's what I'm talking about. I don't think the training in Germany is the best. I'm not saying it's terrible, but it's not on the same level as, you know, France or, you know, England or Great Britain and, you know, whatever, and America and stuff like that. However, we're all in this together. So, I mean, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So, I mean, they're getting training from, you know, America. We're all sharing the pie with each other. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think Germany on its own wouldn't do the best. You know what I'm saying? But Germany with the conglomerate of dope-ass countries, aka NATO, it's doing decent. It's just, it's weird the restrictions it has, I guess. Not that weird, because I do understand why, but damn, I wonder if they'll like ever change that.
Whether Germany will become a...
I just forgot my headset got unplugged. Give me a second.
...military superpower also depends on how the money is spent. Scholz has already hinted at a high-level tech wish list, such as the F-35 fighter.
Oh, F-35s for Deutschland is crazy.
To replace older Tornado aircraft from the 1970s, the Future Combat Air System, which is developing together with France, heavy transport helicopters, modernization of air defense missile systems.
I feel like modernized dogfighting would not last long. And for those that don't know what dogfighting is, I'll have to explain. It's when aircraft are in the air and they're fighting each other and stuff, right? We haven't had something like that consistently in a long time. Now, obviously, we have like air strikes, which is different, but I don't think we've actually had like aircraft battle it out in the skies like some Top Gun type shit in a long time. Like, we haven't had jets versus jets. And I do think when we get to the point where everybody's military is on point with each other and stuff, it's like neck and neck and neck. Dogfighting would be absolutely insane.
Systems, armed drones, modern warships.
Oh, that's another thing too. Drones, that scary, very scary, but effective because you don't have to lose unnecessary lives, I guess, potentially. But then ironically, drones can make mistakes just like anybody can make a mistake. And it's just, it's a very complicated subject. But I will say overall, I do think drones are effective because you don't have to have the pilot in the sky fearing for their life when they're in a high stakes situation. If it's a drone, it's like, okay, we just lost the drone. But if it's a pilot, bro, it's like, oh my God, that's huge.
Ships, etc. However, as mentioned at the start of the video, Germany still seems to be getting the basics wrong. Only around 40% of helicopters and 65% of tanks are operational.
Good God.
And it gets even worse. A recent German parliamentary report found that only 50% of major military...
Hold the hell up. This video is the German military will become Europe's most powerful. And I'd say 70% of this video is shitting on Germany, bro. What the heck? How's it going to be powerful with these stats? All I'm seeing is y'all barely struggling to maintain. Oh my God.
Hardware is working properly. Therefore, money needs to be spent in getting existing equipment up and running first. And as you may remember from the start of the video, the German Bundeswehr has the reputation of wasting taxpayer.
Did they say? Oh, wow. This guy's fried. He just said Bundeswehr? Is that like an apparel for Germany? I thought it was Bundeswehr. Who am I? I'm just a guy. I don't know what I'm talking about.
There's money. So, will Germany become the new European superpower?
Not with the stats you just brought up.